Happy Monday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Welcome to the road to millions on October 2nd, Monday. So you know what that means. It is Bankroll Reset Day. Spoiler alert, we did pretty good. We did good. Actually blew past expectations. So really, really happy with that. We got a great show for everybody today, and there is no time to waste. Monday Night Football, we have two best bets. We're going to give you a fade of the day. It's actually going to be in UFC, and I've got a gnarly X-ray to show. I'm throwing everyone for a loop. I've got an X-ray to show everybody. We got a sleeper of the day in MLB. We got a stat of the day. It should surprise everybody in the NFL. And then Bankroll Reset Day. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about some bankroll management things when we go over our Road to Millions spreadsheet. So first off, guys, please hit the like button. If you're enjoying the gambling content, make sure you leave us a comment. Let us know your best bet for Monday Night Football. We have our best bet that is up, but I think this is kind of a tough game, Steve. So let's just get right into our best bets. So I'm going to go with, we're both going kind of the receiving route here. Why don't you go first with Darius Slayton and talk about his over 40.5 receiving? What do you like here?
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty slim pickings in this game, but I see some spots here picking on this Seahawks poor pass defense. They've allowed the most yards per game through the air, 328 per game. And Slayton, he's went under this number in 2 out of his 3 games so far, but he leads the team in targets with 17. So Jones is looking in his direction more often than anyone else on the team. We saw Slayton have 66 yards against the Seahawks last season. So in a game against similar defense last year, he went over this total, by about 20, 25 yards or so. It's going to be tough sledding for the Giants tonight in the run game. I don't expect Barkley to play. He's doubtful, and I don't expect Breida to get much done. He even last week without Barkley, they only gave him 4 carries. So I'm expecting the Giants to just not be able to run the ball. We also have a great Seahawks run defense. They only give up 2.9 yards per carry. They're bottom of the league in rush defense. I should say top of the league. They're allowing the least, they're top 5 in rushing. So the way to get at this team is through the air. And I'm expecting Jones to have to throw all night. So Slayton's total at 40.5 seems like a pretty low number.
All right. I like it. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker over 1.5 receptions. It's minus 130, but he's been good. 10 targets and 8 catches. So he's, done well with those. He had a 36-yard catch last week. So he had 4 catches against the Rams. He only had 1 against the Lions, which is a little bit surprising because he only had 2 targets, but then against Carolina, 3 for 3. So, when I look at this Seattle backfield, it's just, not a lot of different people are catching the ball. DJ Dallas had 1 catch for minus 2 yards last week. Charbonnet had 1 catch. So Walker had 3 for 59, and he is the unquestioned number 1. He's having a really, really good year. He had 18 carries last week. Charbonnet had 9. So I'd love that he's out on the field a little bit more. Really surprised we're getting 1.5 on this one. So I think by hook or by crook, he gets there just by being out on the field. And I love that he's caught 8 of his 10 targets. So those are 2 Monday Night Football best bets. I will tell you guys, these aren't our super favorite, go all in. Be careful on Monday Night Football, especially with this game. If you had a bad Sunday, don't make matters worse. This game is a little bit weird. I wouldn't say that these 2 bets are our most popular ever or our favorite of the weekend, Steve, right?
No, not by any means. Like I said, this game was tough to, we do have a best bet in this game as well.
One
play, and it's a small play because this game was one that neither of us really liked that much. We had much stronger plays, especially during the 1:00 slate yesterday. That was their strong point of the week.
Yeah, so this ties into bankroll management. Like I said, if you had a great Sunday and you're just saying, hey, I got some profits to play with. Yeah, our play that's up is 2%. Grab it. Let's try and add a couple of units and get the week started off right. If you just had a bad weekend and you're not feeling great, just lay off. It's okay. You don't have to bet Monday Night Football. I promise you, it's not state law that you have to bet on on
And we,
despite
and we,
despite whatever
and we
league
have a
law
whole
you.
slate. Yeah, we have a whole slate coming for us right around the corner again. We'll have Thursday night will be here before you know it, and then the weekend will be here again.
Absolutely. So those are a couple Monday Night Football best bets. Maybe help steer you in the right direction. So Mondays are now half price. We're not doing $9 Monday anymore. We're making it easier. It's so much easier for us on the back end to just do half price. Long story, but everything's half price. So if you want our best, it's $4.50. So if you want to grab a 2% play, that is up. And UFC, after having a Saturday off, which I needed big time, I didn't realize how tired. It's a grueling UFC schedule, man. I have to write articles for it. I have to research all the fights. And then before you know it, Saturday is here. And then Sunday, the next day, you've got football and everything. So I needed the Saturday off, but I'm glad to be back. 11-3 run in MMA plays. And don't forget Dana White Contender Series, week 9. We only got a couple more episodes. So that play will be up tomorrow once I get done handicapping all those. But for today, get the UFC best bet. It's only $7.50. Monday Night Football plays only $4.50. Let's get the week started off right. Promo code for this week, Lang7. Get you a 7-day pass for $79. This is actually a good deal if you get it today. Get it today, and we're going to have a 5% NFL play. We're 4-0 in those. So we're going to have big plays over the weekend. So you're going to get the plays for today and then throughout the rest of the week. So this actually is a good deal if you want to use it today. It will guarantee that you use that you get all the plays, including the 5% play. The 5% play ends up being like $35. So that's almost half of this anyway. So go ahead and grab those up at WagerTalk.com. All right, let's get into the fade of the day. I'm going to UFC. I'm fading Vanessa Demopoulos. I think Kanako Murata is an absolutely fantastic parlay piece. If you're a parlay bettor and you're looking for something to add to it, I really like this one. So I really like Vanessa Demopoulos. Steve, if you've never seen her fight, like she's just a really positive, energetic, like woman. Like I would love to hang out with her. When she wins her fight, and one of her celebration is when the guy comes in to do the post-fight interview. She like jumps in his arms and poses for like a picture. She's just like really, really fun. She's just got a low ceiling. She's only beaten bad opponents. She's 3-2 in the UFC, and her opponent, Kanako Murata, is an absolute elite wrestler. She is a tank. And her last fight, which was her only loss in 7 years, she broke her arm and she didn't stop. The doctor had to stop her. The ref had to stop her. And when they stopped her, she started bawling because she wanted to keep fighting. She is an absolute animal. And Demopoulos, her striking just it's not as crisp. It's a little bit wild. It just seems a little bit forced. And Demopoulos actually wants to wrestle and grapple, except she's fighting someone that's just way better at it. So this is a bad fight. And I mentioned an X-ray. You ready?
Yes, sir.
That is Murata's arm. That is what she was trying to fight with. She was mad that they stopped the fight with her arm like that. That's her elbow. Ew. So
it makes you queasy.
Yeah. So I like Murata to get the win. And it's not a leg injury, so I don't have to worry about like cardio. I don't have to worry about an ACL tendon or anything. It was a broken arm. This was a year and a half ago. So I like Murata. If you're a parlay bettor, that is an absolutely fantastic parlay piece to fade Demopoulos this week. So, all right, let's go to the sleeper of the day. This is a definition of a sleeper. I don't know where you pulled this play out of. This was not on my radar at all. Let's talk about this Blue Jays and Twins series. You found a really nice prop on this.
Yeah, so I was looking at how you can make some money on betting the series as opposed to the individual games in these because it's a best of 3 series, so I thought we could find some angles on it. So we're going to go over 2.5 games on the Jays Twins series. You get it at plus 100, maybe negative 110. They've been pretty even throughout the season. They split the season series 3-3, and the pitching matchups favor this going to a third game because let's just start there. And he's Cy Young candidate, so I like him in the Twins in game 2. The Jays, they haven't named their starter officially for game one, but I'm expecting it's going to be Gosman. He's on target to start that game. He's had plenty of time to. He's in his last start. His was set back enough so that he'll be able to start this game on normal rest. So I would expect it for them to go to Gosman in game one. I wouldn't see why not. So that really sets up for the Jays, in my opinion, to win game one. These teams are pretty even across the board when you look at hitting, some different advantages in the bullpen and whatnot. But when we get into these series in the postseason, we got a lot of close games and a lot of even equal teams that have gotten there, through similar means. So I'm looking at this one going 3 games here at plus 100, negative 110. We just need a split in the first 2 games.
Love it. That's a sleeper way to take advantage of Major League Baseball playoffs. Steve, you know this. I cannot crack the nut of betting on the postseason in Major League Baseball. I cannot figure it out. So anytime we can come up with creative ways to find these props, I really like them. So nice find.
Yeah, I think this is a strong spot to do it too because, like I said, just with these pitching matchups and they split the season series as well. And like you said, the postseason, that's where we're kind of in a loss because we usually are picking on the lower tier teams during the regular season. That's who we like to feast on. So we don't have any of those teams available to select.
All right. That is your sleeper of the day. We've already seen the broken arm. What am I doing there? All right. Stat of the day. Despite having 1 carry for 3 yards in week 1, DeAndre Swift has the second most rushing yards this season with 364. He basically missed a game and is number 2. McCaffrey, number 1, easily with 459. Number 3, James Conner is right behind him. So, yeah, DeAndre Swift. I like DeAndre Swift to go over. I can't believe he didn't go over against Washington, but I'll be looking his way as long as he's healthy. So a guy that misses the first game of the season then ends up number 2 in the rushing out in week 4. Yeah, like that Eagles rushing attack. So that's going to be your stat of the day. So, all right, guys, it is time for the Bankroll Reset. We needed a bounce back week, Steve. Last week, it was our first losing week in a month. We didn't like that. So we started off on Wednesday. We got a short week. We don't have a whole lot to work with. A couple units profit in baseball. Jordan Love comes through. Thursday night cashes. So we're looking pretty good going into the weekend. Saturday, gosh dang it, we dropped units in NCAA football. Our first loss of the season. Soccer, we lose a little one. However, Sunday, baby, we cash on the Ryder Cup. We get a couple valuable units. NFL goes well. We cash that 5% play, and we are up plus 7.16 units, more than doubling our plus 3 units. Great work, everyone. That the 5% NFL plays continue to be awesome. So let's break down some of these. So we start on Wednesday. Ended up with 19 plays. A lot of these were small plays with Ryder Cup and some of the NFL. So baseball 2-1 plus 2.32 units. You want to tell me we laid off a winner yesterday?
Yeah.
But the thinking behind it was solid, and we always say we would rather lay off a winner than give out a loser. So this is kind of in the mold of the Road to Millions, what we did yesterday. And I think long-term, this helps us out. You want to explain kind of what we did yesterday with baseball?
Yeah. So we were looking at fading the Diamondbacks after they had just clinched their wild card, the night before. So we were going with our hangover theory. If you've looked at the baseball plays recently, we've been using the hangover theory of fading the teams that clinched the night before because we know they do a little bit of partying and a little bit of celebrating that night. And the next day you see sometimes a little bit of a skeleton crew in those lineups. But so we looked at in the Astros, they had something to play for still. They were still fighting for the AL West yesterday. So it looked like a good spot. Unfortunately, we laid off, but we, like you said, we rather avoid a loser as opposed to taking You know what I'm trying to say? We rather
No,
not.
yeah, we had a winning week here. We're 2-1. We're up plus 2 units. Weird stuff happens at the end of the year.
Yeah. So so we were looking at it and we were like, we would have been risking our profit for the week essentially had we lost. If we lost, we wouldn't have profited on the week, and we were looking at turning a profit this week. And so we laid off, played it safe in the last day of the year because we were also looking at quirky things can happen on that last day of the Major League Baseball season. So we laid off a winner, but we rather avoid the losers in the long run.
What did our good friend say? You're never going to go broke turning a profit. Yeah, I'll take those. I'll
Exactly.
take that 2.32 units. Absolutely. Give me all those. Soccer, we still can't break out of the funk. So what we've done is we've just really lowered the units here until we get back on track. So this kind of goes back to just don't make it worse. So we lowered them down to like 1%, 1.5%. We'll figure it out. We're simplifying things here a little bit. So only 2 plays this week. Once we get back on track with soccer, I fully expect 4 or 5, maybe even 6 plays. So we'll get soccer going. We're not going to be red hot in every single sport every single week. So I'm not too worried about the long term outlook of soccer. I'll just jump down to college football. 0-1. I selected Arkansas on the team total over within the first quarter. I immediately regretted it. Arkansas, just a completely anemic offense. Their offensive line was terrible. Their play calling was even worse. And yet still they almost hit it. It came down to a 2-point conversion, which, let's face it, it shouldn't have come down to that. We shouldn't have been that close because their offense was so bad. We got a pick six in there, but we were 1 play away from almost hitting it.
We had no business being there,
No.
but let's face it, we were a safety away from a safety. We were a 2 point safety, a 2 point conversion away from a safety as well, but
Yeah.
a 2 point conversion away from 5-0. Like you get to that spot, I'd take that every time. And man, 2 point conversion away from 5-0. Like you said, we had no business being there, but we were still there at that point.
Yep.
So
Yeah. We'll take 4-1 though to start the season in college football. This has been great. So
definitely.
golf had a good golf week, 4-1. One of those was also a push. So that was a real bummer because that was a 2% play that pushed. I had Shane Lowry over Jordan Spieth in the last round, and Europe had already clinched by the time Lowry and Spieth got to the same hole. So Lowry was up, and he didn't give a flying F about that hole. I think he told Jordan Spieth's like 6-foot putt was good. So he lost the last hole. Otherwise, that would have been a winner. But still happy. Bring in that 1.8 units. So we've wagered on 2 golf events in the fall. We've cashed on both of them. So very, very happy with that. Would have loved to have gotten that last push. But whatever. And then NFL. Let's talk it out, man. We're number 2 for NFL and college football for the regular season, and 4-0 in NFL 5% plays. We're going to keep sprinkling the Patriots defensive touchdown here. Thursday night went well. Our first quarter unders went 1-2. We got burned by the late news that Deshaun Watson was out. Like, we had the under in that first quarter. Deshaun Watson gets ruled out. We will not play first quarter unders if a backup quarterback is in. Why? Because the backup quarterback threw the ball right to the Ravens. Ravens basically got gifted a touchdown. But this low volume, focusing on the 5% plays, it's really working for us, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, I would say too that the 3 losses were all small plays. You know what I mean? Like it's almost should be 5-2 in a sense, because like you mentioned that Patriots play that we're playing every week that hasn't come through for us yet, but when it does, it will equal out those losses. And we hit most of our big plays. And like you mentioned, the other 2 losses were on the first quarter unders, and one of them was one that we kind of got screwed on an injury essentially right there. But so I'm really happy with the week and happy that to cash another 5% play. The CJ Stroud over passing yards was our 5% play, which with the game script going the way it was, we're lucky that he threw on that drive. I know he got a bunch of yards later in the game, but if he wouldn't have thrown on that drive and they would have just ran it, and then punted it back away and they get the ball back again with 3 or 4 minutes left up by 17 points, they weren't going to throw the ball again there. And I'm surprised that they risked it, honestly, because Stroud hasn't thrown a pick yet this season. and you think you'd want to keep that confidence level up for the young quarterback, let him go 4 straight games without a pick to open the year, which is pretty amazing in itself.
Yeah, so he was sitting at 233. We needed 240, and they were up big. And you and I texted back and forth. It was like, oh my God, now I'm nervous. And then
I was
I
so
kind of got that feeling. I was like, you know what, this Texan team. And then you heard Stroud talk about it after. Like, they need swagger. They need like an identity. And I love Stroud telling the Houston fans, like, no, we're going out there and playing for you guys. So like, just hearing that, it was like, no, they're not going to take the foot off the gas. So I will say the final number does not indicate how close that was. Like you said,
yeah.
if they could have run the ball a few more first downs, they may not have gotten the ball back. But that was a really, really good cash. And I got to tell you guys, me, Steve, and Corbin spend so much time trying to figure out what plays to put in and not to put in. Like, we seriously have like 30 of them. And then to try and narrow it down and go low volume, it's a brutal process, isn't it? But it does seem to be working.
It's tough because we're all bringing 5 to 10 plays to the table a week, and we have to pare them down and figure out which ones we all agree on which one should be the 5% play if we have one that week, which ones we utilize that week, and it's hard when you bring your plays to the table and sometimes your plays don't get used and you watch them win. You got to accept that, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
but it's also a great exercise because you also see that if we played all of these plays, we might have some good weeks. You could say, oh, look at all our leans hit last week and we would have cashed them all. But then the next week you look and that's how you lose units quick, is having too much action. And we've learned that, and that's just something now we go low volume, and that's what we stick to.
Let's do our bankroll builder spreadsheet, and then I want to talk about that as far as the bankroll management. So guys, if this is your first time with us, please stick around, because this bankroll management and managing your units is more important than what your plays are. I'm telling you, it is so important. So I do want to touch on that. Let's go over the rules real quick. Remember, our number one goal is 3% per week. Keep your eye on the prize. Let's make that 3% per week. We don't chase losses. If you had a bad weekend, don't chase everything tonight. No drunk, no sick, or no bored betting. This is important. Baseball, if you don't like betting on the postseason or you're not used to it, do not fire off bets just because you want to watch a baseball game. And we do not pull money out of the bankroll. So, all right, let us go to here real quick, Steve. Let me change up our screen here. And all right, so let's go to our bankroll builder spreadsheet. I hope most of you have the bankroll builder spreadsheet by now. If you don't, there is a link in the pinned comment. This will get you the spreadsheet. The instructions on how to operate and set it up are right here on the side. You do not need to ask for permission. Just follow these instructions. So, all right, so let's take a look at where we were last week. So last week we lost 11.2 units. And I've already filled this in. So we lost 11.2 units. So we established that one unit was going to be $15.78. And we know we are up 7.16 units. So we just multiply 7.16 times 15.8. And we end up with a total of $1,690. That's when we started with $1,000. So we're creeping up to that doubling our bankroll number, which is really good. And on this column B, you'll see our goal is to be at 1754. We're just behind it, so we're almost there. We were down quite a bit last week with that bad week, but we got closer. So we established this week one unit is $16.90. And so if we have a one unit play, you're betting $16.90. Obviously, you have your own spreadsheet, you have your own bankroll. So make sure you're adjusting this based on whatever you started with. So if you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to reach out and help you. And Steve, stock market took a beating.
Not
We
us.
didn't. We didn't. All right. This is Steve's favorite chart. I love this thing too. So we love comparing ourselves to the stock market because we just treat our bankroll like an investment portfolio, a stock portfolio. I just got an email from my financial advisor that he wants to meet up so he can go over how my IRA and my stocks are doing. And I'm bringing this chart. So the blue is the Dow Jones. I mean, the Dow Jones down to 1.09% profit for the year. We are at 111%. So I don't know about you guys. I would rather be up 111%, Steve.
Yeah, maybe he should start investing with you.
I've offered. He said it's illegal. He said you
Yeah,
can't do that.
yeah,
I said you
I
should
can see
offer this
that.
service to your clients. So yeah, we're doing really good. That was a really good week. Okay, so I did want to talk a little bit about about managing bankroll and stuff. So we're kind of getting to where it may be a little bit low volume for a few weeks because we do not have that many sports. But we have already started looking at what are we going to do in basketball and hockey, and those are other sports coming up. So we're going to have there's a golf tournament this week. We'll definitely have a golf play. We have UFC, we have Dana White Contender Series, and we have football. So Steve, you touched on it. What I want to talk about is low volume. The premise behind low volume is to protect yourself when you have a bad run. It's not to have these huge upswings. So can you touch on just a little bit about why the low volume this is so important. The low volume, we know we can go on hot streaks, but the losing streaks can absolutely wipe out a huge chunk of your bankroll, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So can you just touch on that a little bit and kind of explain from your perspective what you see with that?
Yeah, it's just really about the losing streaks over time. They just kill you because they're gonna come eventually. You know what I mean? And when you're going low volume, like you said, sometimes you look at it and the returns aren't that great. Like you're just kind of steadily moving up, like we are right now. But when you get crushed in a weekend, and you have too many plays out there, too many units out there, like we just can't risk 25% of our bankroll in a weekend,
No.
30% of our bankroll in our weekend. We just can't do that. So, because to come back from that, just try to come back from that. And then you get in that mindset of like, you got to try to get it back. And then now you're chasing losses, which you're going right up against something that we preach against too. So it's just the safer way to go. It's the way to just protect your bankroll and kind of keep things in focus and keep things in front of you.
Yeah, it's like if we want to go back to this, if we want to go back to this thing here. So okay, we're up 1,690. Extremely happy with that considering we started with $1,000 a couple months ago. So if we get reckless and we try and put out 12 or 13 NFL bets over a weekend and we happen to be completely off on all of our reads, we are going to get smoked and we're going to give back basically every single bit of all these profits. And we're going to end up way back down to the $1,000. And then all the work that we've done over the last few weeks has just been like a complete wash. So we've had some really big week. Like we had this 23 unit week where we were up there. And, you might say, well, you guys obviously put that much out there because, how could you not if you had 23 units? We were just having a good week, so we kept rolling with our plays. We didn't risk it all at once. It wasn't like we had 20 plays out there all at the same time. It was, okay, we're having a great baseball week. Yep, let's throw another one in. Okay, UFC hit. All right, let's risk it a little bit more in Formula One. So we were always protecting our profits. And it's just so important that you do not put that much out there, especially in one sport. We'll have weekends, if we have a weekend where there's UFC, college football, soccer, NFL, and Formula One, just by the nature of those 5 sports, we probably will have a decent chunk out there, but I don't think we're going to get smoked in every single sport. It's when you have all those plays in one sport and you just have a bad weekend, it's just too easy to lose a big chunk of your bankroll. So the low volume is right. It's there to protect you for when you have a bad weekend, it's not there to gain a ton of units, with each and every weekend.
And the system's about increasing your unit size. You know what I mean? That we're going to rely on our best stuff and count that we can win more often than not on our best picks, and just keep building our unit size more and more, so that we're just doing the same thing with just a different unit size, though. That's all.
Absolutely. The dollar unit changes, but the percentage always stays the same. Just want to make that 3% every week. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We're off tomorrow. We will be back Wednesday for another Road to Millions, and we are going over our second Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. I haven't picked it yet, but it's going to be a good one. It's probably one that you guys submitted. So if you want to see us break down a sports record that you think is unbreakable, we did our first episode, and Ricky Henderson's stolen bases got immediately fast-tracked into the Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. Leave it in the comments section below. So that's going to do it for us, guys. Don't forget to grab that UFC play and our Monday Night Football play. Let's get the week started off right. It was a great weekend. I cannot wait for the next NFL 5% play. What do we say, Steve? You can't run the table if you don't win the first four. So
one at a time.
Just one at a time. So it was a great week, up 7.1 units. Thanks to everybody for joining us. We'll see everyone Wednesday on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.